This is the 2023 Land Rover Discovery Sport R-Dynamic SE, and I'll tell you what, this exterior color most certainly makes this model pop. Between the exterior color with the red and the black accent, it's going to accent everything perfectly with the black roof here. It just makes the vehicle look, well, sporty, being the sport. Isn't that what it's supposed to be? Most certainly seems to meet the criteria. Tire and wheel size, while we're here, 235 on the width, 50 on the sidewall size, and those are 20-inch wheels. And I like the red brake calipers that are there, but that should probably be body color, if at all possible, which obviously it is, but not necessarily a big deal, but just something I noticed. Now, for those of you who don't like capless fuel fill, you're gonna like the fact that here you don't have that. So a very easy system to use, kind of old school in a way, but that's not a bad thing by any means. And then we're going to find the cold climate package. What exactly is that? Well, that means it's going to have a heated windshield, the heated steering wheel, and the high pressure washers for these headlights up here. That's what this little square right here is. And speaking of the headlights, hey, what a nice segue to jump into that, right? You're gonna find the LED headlights, the signature daytime running lights, a very nice look. It's not just the typical just runs flat across the front end kind of turn signal indicator design. Really like the design here and how it flows across and then back up right here. That looks good. That's why you want to make sure you use your blinkers when you're driving down the road. And the typical Land Rover Discovery look, even though this is the Discovery Sport, it still has kind of a smaller version of what we would have on the Discovery itself, the larger version with the front grille design. It is in gloss black, but it fits here perfectly. We're going to find the lower grille here with the R-Dynamic logo, obviously the sensors for everything you're going to have here as far as all of your driving aids go. And then we're going to have the power adjustable side view mirrors. You're going to see the turn signal indicator is built in right there. And if you're saying, Tom, what does the remote look like for 2023? Well, there's no changes there, but still a tastefully done remote. Obviously, that sticker is going to come off, but you can see what's here as far as how everything looks. Very easy to use. Now, a main question I know a lot of people are going to have, how much horsepower does this Discovery Sport have? Let's talk a little bit more about this motor that's under the hood. Under the hood is the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It makes 246 horsepower and 269 pounds-feet of torque. Mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, power will ultimately find its way to the ground through those 235/50 tires that we talked about earlier through all-wheel drive. And how about MPGs? 19 city, 23 on the highway, 20 combined. And according to Land Rover, you should use 5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And to make that a little bit more simplified to understand as far as the 5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven, within the confines of the vehicle here is a 17.7 gallon gas tank. So that kind of gives you an idea of what exactly it is you have in that respect. And now that I have the rear liftgate lowered down, we can take a look at the shark fin antenna up there. Like that in gloss black. It fits, it matches the roof up here. Speaking of the roof, we do have the panoramic sunroof. Now you will notice that that's one solid piece of glass, so it doesn't slide open. Tell me what you think about that in the comments. If you're going to have a sunroof, would you rather have one that opens, or do you mind just having the one solid piece of glass? As always, for me personally, I would love to see Land Rover tuck this rear window wiper away within the roof spoiler. That's just me as an automotive journalist. You will notice that you have the rear window defogger here. That's going to help out, obviously, in a lot of ways. And having the black lettering here, well, it just matches perfectly. The gloss black, that works great. Doesn't need to be matte black. I think the gloss black works really well here. And you do have a very clean looking rear here as far as the rear of the Discovery Sport goes. A little bit of a diffuser back here, although you're not going to go fast enough to take advantage of such a thing, but it does look nice and give the rear end of this model a nice finished job. The taillights also looking nice as well. Really, it does fit what we see right here. It looks sporty. And as far as overall design goes, just something I noticed here that's very interesting. You can't really miss it, and that's going to be more of that black contrast right here. It just kind of breaks things up instead of just having one hood that's a solid color, kind of a large hood that doesn't really have a lot of character lines to it. You have this very large portion here in the middle, but it really fits the vehicle, and I do like the fact that you have that gloss black section right there that just kind of sets things apart. And as we work our way around, you will find the power rear lift gate. This model can tow up to 4,409 pounds. I'd say that's not too terribly bad. Obviously, we can't see a whole lot back here because of the fact that there's quite a few things on the floor right here. You have your mats right here. You've got the cargo mat here. And obviously, well, let's see if I can show you what's under the floor. You will find a spare tire. That's always a good thing to know. No tire repair kits here. Cargo capacity comes in at 33.2 cubic feet up to 55.6 cubic feet. If you want to maximize cargo capacity, well, it's not difficult to do. All you're going to do is come right here. Here is the release. It's going to allow you to fold the seats flat. Obviously, you can do that on both sides. I'm not going to do that just to save time here, but that is how you do that. And then right here, you're going to have a USB port. I like that. Somebody listen to me. I always say, it's okay to have the 12-volt power outlet back here like we have right here, but you also need a USB port. I think that's a good thing that Land Rover has done that. I think that's the very first vehicle I have seen that actually has that. You do have your rear cargo cover back here as well. That's easy to use. You can remove that if you want to. You can put it in place whatever you want to do. Quite a bit of space back here as well. As you can see, you've got the little pocket right here with the netting to help keep things in place. That makes things very easy to do, very easy to use, and kind of a unique perspective here to give you a better look at that panoramic sunroof. And we'll take a look in through the left side into the rear seating area. Gonna have a little bit of brushed aluminum right here. Kind of breaks things apart. One thing I really like here, you have the black interior, but you also have this nice contrast red stitching right here throughout, not only on the door panels, but on the seats as well. I hope that's showing up well on the camera. A little dark right here in this area, but you can see not only the contrast stitching, but the piping here as well. So that really breaks things up, looks nice. A nice size door bin. Nice to not see a door bin that's kind of small in the rear seat area for a change. You don't always see that, but that makes a big difference in my personal opinion. At least for your rear seat passengers, a little more storage with the rear pockets on the back of the seats. Heated outboard seats, so whoever's sitting in the middle is just going to have a cold butt. It is what it is. Sorry about that, but you'll just have to call the left or the right side if you're a rear seat passenger. And then we're going to have our dual air conditioning vents here, and then two USB ports, one here. And while you have a 12-volt power outlet right there, you know what? You could buy an adapter and turn that into a third USB connection for the third passenger back here if there are 3 people riding back here. And then we'll take a quick look at the fold-down armrest. I like the fact that there is a little bit of space in there for some snacks, some goodies, whatever rear seat passengers want to use. And what does it look like when you look up from this perspective? Really a very nice view for your rear seat passengers with that panoramic sunroof. But we're just getting started. Let's see what you're going to find in the front seat. And for the most part, you're going to see a mirror image here on the driver's side as we did on the passenger side, with the exception of all the controls for the windows, positioning your power side view mirrors, and 3 different settings here for seat memory. I like that. That's a good thing. And then we're also going to reach up here and hit the push button start, get things started up and running like they should be. And there is the instrument cluster. Pretty simple, but effective. You will have traffic sign recognition, as you can see to the left of the digital speedometer. And then, I don't know if I'd want to go 150 miles an hour, but that is the speed that Land Rover is putting on the speedometer. They're kind of interesting. I don't think I'd try that in this Discovery Sport. And you do have the turn signal lever right here with the controls for the headlights, and then the control over here for your front and rear wipers, and then steering wheel mounted controls. As you can see, this side's going to be everything for adaptive cruise control. And one of my favorite features here within the interior of the Discovery Sport is going to be the Pivi Pro infotainment system. It gives you a lot of good information about the vehicle. As you can see over here, it gives you your all-terrain status of the vehicle when you're off-roading with it. It also has hill descent control, so quite a bit going on there. Here's your built-in navigation. I know a lot of people like to know about that. That's always a good thing, so I like to show that as far as what you have there. And you can go into your apps right here and see what all you have. And by the way, that flickering effect that you see right there, don't worry about that. That is not something that is at fault of Land Rover, if I can get that out correctly. That's actually the shutter speed of my GoPro. So no big deal there, no problem there. We have low traction launch right here, and you might wonder, what is that? If it's snowing, remember, this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. It is great for driving in the snow, so that means you're not going to get too much RPM taking off and spin any tires. That's always a good thing. You can see that you have the camera right here. There's our rear view camera, and then we're going to take a look at a couple of other things we can do here as I just push on the screen right there. You can see what I'm doing to change the view, but obviously a lot going on there. It looks nice. You don't have to be in reverse is the nice thing to be able to use that, so that's always a good thing as far as that goes. Obviously you can pair your phone, you can set up your accounts, you can see everything that you can do there. There's a lot going on here. A very nice system. You can use different driving modes. You can use what we have right here with the, let me go back real quick just so you can see what I did right there, with the 4x4 mode. And then it's going to give you the information here that tells you what you can and can't do, all that kind of stuff. You're going to hit OK right there. And there is how you're going to see the progress of what's going on with the vehicle. It's going to tell you the angle or the degree of the angle that you're driving and altitude and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot going on right there. A very neat setup. And if you want to go right here to terrain information, let's see if we can, I don't know if I can get that to work right now, but we will try. Let's see. I don't think it's going to let me do it. Oh well, we won't worry about that. But you can see what's there. There's so much here. I don't have time to go through every single little thing. But we do have the dual zone climate control, as you can see right there. If you want to turn on the heated seats, there's how you're going to do that. Just push on that or push to go back to change the temperature. There, you're going to change your fan speed. You can see what all is here. Now, there's your hill descent control. You can turn traction control off. You can turn off or on the auto stop start feature, depending on what it is you want to do. Ultimately, quite a bit going on here. I don't know if I showed you yet or not, but I did bring forward the shade for that panoramic sunroof if you want to do that. And by the way, you do have the Meridian sound system here. So what exactly does that sound like? Well, why don't we use one of my videos so I don't get hit by a copyright claim from YouTube to see what it sounds like. Okay, that's probably enough of that, but I just wanted you to know what the Meridian sound system actually sounds like. I hope my lapel mic did a good job of picking that up for you. All right, here we go on our test drive with the Discovery Sport. And I know a question a lot of people are going to ask, does it have enough horsepower? It really does. You know, a lot of the time I know people are talking about, oh, that, you know, this isn't enough horsepower because it's maybe 250 or 247 or even 300 in this day and age. People are starting to kind of balk at that. Well, you didn't live in the 1980s and even in the 70s when there were a lot of vehicles on the road that just didn't have any horsepower. They were larger, they were heavier. So the power to weight ratio here is actually really good. So if you're looking for a vehicle that's going to do well in the snow, this is definitely one of them. That's one thing about the Land Rover vehicles. When it comes to the all-wheel drive system, it's very different from what you'll find with other vehicles, even Jeeps. And the reason I say that is because if you lose traction with one tire, for example, that tire is going to lose all of the power that's going to it automatically. That power will go to the other 3 that aren't spinning, or whatever the case may be. So it really makes a big difference where that is concerned. So I was going to try and do a little acceleration test, but I don't want anyone pulling out in front of me, so we'll do a small test now and just kind of see. Yep, definitely no problem getting up to speed. I need to slow back down now. But just wanted to kind of let you know, it's very peppy. It gets down the road just fine. It's a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. I like the fact that the rear window has plenty of room to see out of. It's very easy to see. Not any major issues with blind spots here and all that kind of stuff. I like that. Obviously, have all the different safety features and driving aids to help out with that kind of thing. That's all here, as you would expect. That's kind of a given, I would think. And one thing I didn't mention earlier is the fact that you do have the nice graphical head-up display that's nice and bright and definitely gives you a good view of what's going on as far as your speed goes. Kind of hard to show that on the screen because usually it's too bright outside. Plus right now it's just impossible for you to see it from where you are. I don't know if you could even see it if I had the GoPro mounted right next to my head, but we're not going to do that. No big deal there. And something I like to point out with these vehicles, because I know there's still a lot of you out there who are saying to yourself, you know, I've waited long enough, I can't put it off any longer, I've got to buy a new vehicle, but I'm really not so sure I want to have to deal with all of this new technology that is out there. So here's the thing. With the Land Rovers, especially with the Pivi Pro infotainment system, this 10-inch screen right here, is definitely not difficult to learn, not difficult to use. It works really well. That's one thing that I like. When Land Rover changed over to this Pivi Pro a couple of years ago, it was a real game changer. Much easier system to use than the previous generation. So, what is my ultimate conclusion to driving this Discovery Sport? Well, I think it's quite fun to drive. Could it use more horsepower? Listen, I'm a drag racer. Everything needs more horsepower. But the fact of the matter is that regardless, you know, this is one of those things where, and talk about another thing right there, you know, you're actually supposed to stop. But as you can see, our bright-minded friend right here who just passed me on the left didn't. You saw the medic unit that passed by, so, oh well. I try and do the right thing and be a good example to all you people watching me on YouTube. But, you know, horsepower, more horsepower, oh, that'd be great. Wouldn't it be amazing if there was a Discovery Sport SV autobiography? Wow. Well, I don't probably have to tell you that, well, there we go again, another bad driver. They're just everywhere. I need to start putting more of this on another YouTube channel that I have where I do that occasionally with bad drivers. It's just kind of hard to do that, but I need to stay focused. It's just hard not to with these bad drivers around as far as telling you about the Discovery Sport here. A fun vehicle to drive, enjoyable. I'd love to have it out in the snow sometime. Probably won't ever get that opportunity, but I have a pretty good idea that it would handle everything just fine with absolutely no problems. It's a really great vehicle, although it would be nice to see if Land Rover actually did a Discovery Sport SV autobiography one day. I guarantee you I'd be waiting in line. So tell me down in the comments section, do you think you get more than you pay for with the 2023 Land Rover Discovery R-Dynamic SE? Tell me what you think and tell me why you answered the way that you did. I gotta say a special thanks to my friends here at Land Rover of Shreveport for loaning me this Discovery Sport for the day. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn about other vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.